Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows, Part 1, The Face Swappers, and Dobby's back.
Dobby is Harry Potter's friend.
Dude, you kind of look like Dobby.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. We're starting to wrap up our Harry Potter series. We're in the Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1. Man, they kicked the effects into high gear for these last two movies, huh?
Yeah, so right now we're just going to be covering the first one, which is so much fun because Harry Potter is of age and he has to leave. He has to go. He's no more bound by Dumbledore's enchantment where Voldemort can't find him and stuff because of his birthday. And their escape plan. Oh my gosh, dude, wasn't it so cool seeing all the different faces?
Cool. Yeah, it was just such a fun opening to a movie. I mean, it's really fun. They're kind of doing that 70s show like circle thing, and you see them start to you're starting to see someone and you circle back around. They're all and then
you could totally tell that like really one guy just went like this too. I love it.
Oh, it's awesome.
But,
it's
dude,
so
think
fun
about all the tracking that had to be done. I mean, I know. Okay, so we've been doing deep fakes on Harry Potter and stuff. Click here. Do you think deepfake technology could have helped reduce time with this, or do you think what do you think? What do you think?
No, I think so. You've been able to for a long time. If you plan carefully and the camera's not moving crazily, or you have motion control and things like that, you can swap faces pretty easily as long as you're kind of matching the general motion and you're shooting from the same angle and the same lighting. Which obviously the motion control camera and control lighting they can certainly repeat. I think that probably wasn't too bad, but to have them all blend in, and it's just so comedic though. Like, avert your eyes, I'm hideous. It's like they're getting undressed and changed. It's just that's one thing that even though the last Harry Potters get pretty dark, they still are fun. Like you have a lot of comic stuff in there as well, which is a great thing about them.
Thanks to Fred and George.
Fair warning, tastes like goblin piss.
I've lots of experiences with that, dear Maddo. Just trying to diffuse the tension.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Fred and George. And then, man, talk about looking strung out. Ron is looking strung out in his last couple movies. Oh my gosh. He looks like Ron. Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, just like,
but the Jedi are evil. I'm just kidding. No. Okay. So now that it's so much fun, he gets to ride with Hagrid the way he came in, with the motor scooter and all that stuff. But
and I've always wanted a motorcycle with a sidecar like that, and that made me think of that. Even like I want Hagrid's, motorcycle with a sidecar. Like yes,
that would be pretty freaking, especially if it can fly. That would be pretty freaking amazing. So overall, I mean, some more broom shots and stuff. I know it's not Quidditch and everything, but what did you think of the mood of them fighting and flying and the chaos?
It looks absolutely perfect. I mean, you're getting all the crazy black clouds. They're flying through clouds. You're getting, morphing clouds and everybody. It just looks, I mean, you could tell by this point they've perfected the technology that they wanted to do for these films. I mean, Dobby, we haven't even gotten Dobby yet, but Dobby looks exponential. I mean,
yes.
Tenfold, 100 times better than he did in part 2, and that's the only thing that kind of threw me off on. And we'll circle back. Sorry, we're getting off topic.
No, we can totally go Dobby now. We'll totally hit Dobby and we'll jump back. Go for it.
Yeah, his CG looks just you could still tell like it's a little bit funky in the face, but I think it just looks wonderful. Like the subsurface scattering looks great, and just like the skin textures and everything like that. The only thing that kind of threw me for a loop story-wise is it's so long since the second movie and Deathly Hallows Part 1 that I had honestly forgotten
about
who
Dobby.
He was.
No, not Dobby.
No. I mean, because
Dobby would never forget John.
There's a huge passage of time, and so unless you revisited the movies or read the books, I had forgotten. Like, oh, that's right. He had. And I think I didn't see the second movie for quite a while. I remember I had kind of stumbled upon him.
In the books, he's like a big part of Goblet of Fire, where he actually is the one initiating the gillyweed for Harry to breathe underwater, but they cut that out. Okay. He actually gets a job in Hogwarts where he works in the kitchen because technically, cool. The food just appears in front of everyone. There's actually house elves that make the food, and then all they do is kind of like a transfer spell to bring it up. There's a whole thing where they try to form elf's rights. I think it's called spew or something like that. Yeah, it's a whole fun story with Dobby. And
I wish they would have had more Dobby, but at the same time, you can understand why they had to cut stuff out.
Expensive too, and time wise.
That's true. Yeah, because and I'm sure those shots in the second movie were really hard to pull off. And again, I mean, they don't cut themselves any breaks.
When Dobby dies and he's like, spoiler alert, Dobby dies.
Yeah.
But like the way he's
Spoiler
like
from the
even
early
like
2000s.
interacting with Harry too and everything.
The shadows
so
and
good.
everything. I mean, that's so hard to do. Have the perfect shadows. I mean, there's no funkiness, uncanny valley to it. I mean, obviously it's not like a person, but it looks
He blends
really,
in
really,
so
really
well
good.
with this world. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally blends in well. Oh, and then when I was watching the film, I know we talked about during Goblet of Fire about the hand on Grima Wormtongue, and it like when it betrays him and he has to kill himself.
Yeah,
that part's
that's
not
right.
even. I put that in there for you because like it's so crazy because
funny.
Dobby
Yeah.
knocks him out, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not what happens in the book. My mind was like, no, I mixed the two up in my head.
So you guys, what basically happened is Nick lied to me and
I didn't
all
lie
of
to
you as well.
It's in the book. It's just not in the movie.
Just flapping.
That's so funny. But anyways, I thought that was funny
hilarious.
too because that was changed in the book and all that stuff. But
Okay.
but yeah, Dobby looked freaking amazing. The face swaps looked incredible. Even when like Hermione like hits Harry with the spell, so his face gets all
Yeah, he's
morphed
like,
and all that stuff.
Which
like,
again is like it's serious situation, but the comedy is there too. He's like, he looks like what is it, Hitch in the movie Hitch with Will Smith.
oh my
gets allergies
gosh, when he
like,
gets
he's
the
like,
bee
it
sting,
looks
yeah.
Like, it looks like that. I just laughing. It's like, oh, it's so fun. Even these serious situations, they found a perfect way to integrate the humor too. He's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, and oh my gosh, so much good stuff. And then the
The
snake,
morphing in the faces were just fun.
they did
Yeah.
such a good job with the snake in this. Like at the
And Nick
beginning.
is, if you guys have been listening, Nick's very critical of snake shots, but yeah,
Snake.
I was excited to
Snake
hear what
looks
you had to say about that.
amazing. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
so
it looks
good.
great.
And then also when the old lady turns into the snake in the room, it's
yeah.
such a good creepy like. It's so good, isn't it? It's just like
Yes, yeah, it's great. That and I don't know why I always draw a bunch of parallels between other movies and other things like that.
Don't
but
say
it
Lord of the
reminded me
Rings.
The second It movie where they had the crazy grandma.
yeah.
If you guys have seen It Chapter 2, it's just crazy grandma, and if you just watch the trailer, like the whole trailer was just her in that. So, but yeah, watch that. It's like it's crazy grandma. Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was afraid we were going to bring up another Lord of the Ring reference. I'm happy we didn't.
No, this time.
Okay, so me and John just went back and we watched Ghostbusters, which was a lot of fun. We just went back.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a heads up. There's some cool, fun stuff coming up. We're gonna rip that one apart and also praise it a lot.
Praise it. Oh yeah, for sure.
We're gonna do a good fun balance.
movie.
But anyways, you know what reminds me of their like particle blaster thing? The wands.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but it totally is there.
It's
yeah.
like even like the way it moves sometimes, like even like, you know, if you go back to older movies and like when they're flicking it and the way it like scatters off and
Just
stuff
straight-
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I'm like, they were inspired by Ghostbusters, but I don't see no Marshmallow Man going around the streets here.
All the stuff that droops off their wands and falls to the ground, that's melted Stay Puft. That's what that is.
But man, like it looks so good. Like every time since the fourth film, whenever their wands
the
connect,
wands
it's just
are-
like the
look so
color and the way they do that. And
They do these crazy zoom ins too, where you're zooming up to the wand, you're seeing when they're flying on the broom at the beginning.
Yes,
when
yes.
Voldemort and Harry just like sleeping wands him.
So in the books, oh my gosh, sorry, I always have to drop in the books on you guys, but there's a connection between their wands because at that point Harry
No, they
still has
explain
his
that at the
wand.
movies too.
Yeah, so it's almost like the wands won't
It's the
destroy
same
each
feather,
other.
right? It was
Yeah, it's the same feather from Fox, Dumbledore's Phoenix.
Phoenix, right?
So-
So they did mention that in the movies.
But there's
'cause
like
I wouldn't-
there's like a connection where they won't ever destroy each other. That's why every time they meet wands, like nothing. That's why it's like a magnet almost. Like they won't like hurt each other, kind of thing. So, but then Harry breaks his wand in this movie, and then that's when he steals Draco's wand, and then he becomes the master of that wand. And
Yeah.
and then you know, well, we can talk about this in the next one. I guess we can talk about it now because it's spoilers. You guys probably already watched the film, but the elder wand belongs to Draco because he disarmed
killed
Dumbledore.
he
He didn't kill him.
Right.
He disarmed him, and whoever disarms him.
that's right.
So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna come up, and that's a whole
That's right.
thing.
I forgot about that.
And
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
makes Harry Potter the master of the Elder Wand in the last film, because he took
disarms
Draco's.
him, right?
Yeah, he took Draco's wand. I don't really understand how that works, but that's how it works.
It's a fun little
Oh
system.
my
And,
gosh. One thing I forgot to put in here, though, which I
motion
love,
graphics.
the motion graphics of the Deathly Hallows. Oh
Yeah,
my
I was surprised
gosh.
they did it. That's one of my favorite uses of motion graphics in a film. I mean, because it's this throwback to this way before story,
Yes.
and how are you going to tell this without having these huge monologues and stuff? And it's just, it is beautiful. I downright, when I saw that installation in theaters, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so beautiful. Just
It's
what a
so
wonderful
incredible.
way to give backstory. Yeah, it's this perfect blend of 2D and 3D.
Almost looks like
shifting and just
puppets mixed
perfectly
with like,
beautifully
shadow telling. It
stylized.
just looks so good.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Like,
Oh yeah.
hands down, probably one of the best artistic choices for
Yeah.
this
I mean,
film. The first one for sure, at least. Yeah.
I remember when I very first saw that in theaters, for a split second, I'm like, gosh, this is really throwing me out of the live actionness of it. But then once I started listening, I'm like, I love this. I was like, oh,
Don't
yeah.
stop. Just finish the movie like this, please.
Yeah. It was great, artistic, beautiful. And I'm curious how they came about to that, because they probably were sitting in meetings like, okay, how are we gonna cover this artistic choice? What path are we gonna take? And someone had to suggest, hey, let's do it like old manuscript with 3D and stylized, almost puppetry, and the frame rate kind of changes. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's
so
wonderful.
good. Yeah,
One of
the
my favorite
frame
things
rate really
about the
helps
movie.
it too. Yeah, the
Yeah,
weight of
yeah.
everything looks fantastic in the stylized form, and even like when the last brother is hiding with him with the cloak, and they do like the cool.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It's everything.
And when
about
she
it
was
so perfect.
And when she was writing on the book, just what a great fun backstory, because she
Oh, yeah.
created that, and it's just such a great story to weave into the narrative and the lore and stuff like that. Just beautiful story. Yeah.
She really has a number with 7. You'll see 7 repeat a lot. Like there's 7 courses in Hogwarts, 7 years at the school, 7 books.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
right away, she had it planned for 7 books. Harry Potter was born in July, which is the 7th month. And there's just there's so many, there's even more 7s. I think there's 7 kids in Ron's family. Like she's really into the number 7.
Did she ever give any background to why she chose that, or was it just a conscious
No.
decision for the story? Or
I'm just claiming she was into the number 7 because I realized the number 7 so much. But
how funny.
anyways, but yeah, there's a lot of 7s, and yeah, but which is weird because there's 3 Deathly Hallows. You would think there'd be 7 Deathly Hallows. Anyways, back to the fun stuff. Let's talk about the face swap and how they saved money, where they just cut the scene when they kidnap the people and they're already the people.
Yeah. Which is just smart filmmaking. You don't need to see a lightsaber, turn on and off every time. You just hear it and you know what's going on. You circle around the camera. I mean, just smart filmmaking, right?
Yes, 100%. And then we get the cool goop when he's like, I
Yeah.
mustn't tell lies, and it's like coming through that.
Yeah, that's really fun. Everybody's like, that's always really fun when you get the funky.
So much face
warping.
tracking. Do you think they like put marks on him and everything, or you think it was just afterwards they would just like track basic features of his face?
I mean, that looks like it's
warping.
Oh, I see. If you're warping or completely, I mean, they'd have to recreate the face either way, right, to get the lighting and shadows to fall correctly. I mean, so that's really, really hard to do and have it not look really fake. I mean, obviously, it's not meant to look. I haven't seen that in real life. Thank goodness. I never want to see that in real life, but
Not yet.
yeah, not yet. But it looks so. It's just a fun effect too. And when they're standing around in the toilets and they're the grown up guys, you're just like laughing. Yeah, it's like, this was disgusting. Yeah, but having the same voices is just hilarious. It's just a fun touch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought those actors did a good job too with like the stiff.
Oh
walks
yeah,
and
did
everything,
a
making it
great
look
job.
awkward.
Yeah.
But what did
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
of the Dementors? We got more Dementors. What did you think? Looked
They-
better
you know,
than the
I'm
5th
s-
one, because we were kind of like, what's going on here in the 5th movie at
Yeah,
the hallway?
and some of these shots, they're pretty well lit, and they still look really, really convincing. It's not as bright as that hallway scene or the tunnel scene in the 5th one was just a hard shot.
Yeah,
and all
and
the
the
other
lighting
shots,
looks
they always
kinda,
look good anyways. In all the other shots, they look good anyway. So maybe that was just a challenging shot they had, or who knows? Maybe that was a rush shot they added in. I mean, you never know the story behind shots.
Never know the story behind shots. And end of story. Drop the mic, walk away. Okay, so what did you think of like the vision, Ron's vision? That whole sequence, and they're like blue, and the effect coming out. It's like The Ring, Oh man, I dig it. I thought maybe we'd go one video without Lord of the Rings. A Dark Queen.
Yes, it was very much like that, and I think one of our favorite flashback sequences was just the movie previous to this, right? So the Half-Blood Prince, right? So that had a very cool stylized look that Nick and I really liked, a different type of thing. You know, that was like more of a antiquated going back in a memory, but we both love that. I didn't like this. I wasn't as much of a fan of this, but I mean, it worked fine.
It's in the book. It's supposed to be John overcoming the jealousy that in his head, I guess Harry and Hermione were doing it in the forest.
Did you say John or Ron? I think you said John.
Oh no, did I say John?
Flashback.
The book, it's supposed to be John overcoming the jealousy that in his head. Oh no, Harry.
I said John.
No, I thought I said Harry.
Yes,
and
I was very
Hermione.
upset about Harry and her
did
doing
I say
it in
Harry
the
and
forest.
John were doing in the forest? Did I say Harry and John?
You said John was very upset about them doing it in the forest. I said, yep, that's right. I was very upset about that. Strung
I
out
don't
Ron
remember
should
what
be
I
with
said. I
Hermione.
have such bad memory.
You said John. You're like, and John was very upset. I'm like, yeah, I was kind of upset.
Yeah, I was. You know what? Too much skin. Too much skin. Put the robes back on. We already saw Harry enough earlier when he was changing in front of everyone.
Yeah, Dressiamus. Yeah, come on, get dressed, you guys. Dressiamus.
That's awesome. So what'd you think? Like the
felt
way
out
the
of place
visions were done and all that stuff?
It didn't fit Harry Potter as much for me, but then again, it just, you know, it just maybe the scene. But like you said, it's in the books. It's important to the character development. They've kind of been hinting at how they're gonna, you know, how he's going to react, you know, to that. So it's a cool scene. It just
it's really cool because it almost sets the stage on what Horcrux look like when they get destroyed, right?
That's kind of true.
Because we've only seen it with Tom Riddle's diary where it's like blood.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's always like a smoke thing, and you'll see more in the next one too. When they get destroyed, it's like always like a vision of like a soul coming out like through smoke or something like that. You fire, smoke, or whatever substance it is, or something like that. So it was like it was setting the stage for the style later on. So, but man, talk about the lighting in that scene. You know, first you have the dough, and he follows the dough and all that stuff, and then the water and everything. It's like, dang, man. They
really
stepped
cool
it up.
Stuff.
They stepped it up,
really cool
especially
stuff.
with the last three.
Yes.
The last three films, Half-Blood Prince, and then the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. They really stepped it up with the cinematography and stuff like that.
I mean, I really feel you could even just break it down into the last two Deathly Hallows are a huge improvement too. I mean, just seeing Dobby in this one, you're just like, oh wow, like we've improved a huge as they've grown up. So have the visual effects during that time period. You know, it's just really really cool stuff. All right, guys, so we have one more movie to go. Hopefully, you've already seen the Deathly Hallows. If you haven't, definitely check those out. Amazing movies, and again, from a visual effects, special effects standpoint, they've evolved so much. Check out AsArt.space for all the video and audio links. Stay tuned soon for the rest of the Harry Potters. Check out all the other Harry Potter ones we've done. Also the deepfakes, a lot of Harry Potter content, doing a lot of other stuff as well. So check out AsArt.space for all the video and audio links. We'll see you on the next AsArt.